In the previous video, we looked at how to build a troop for Moonstone, but now it's time to start unboxing these gnome characters. I've got 3 boxes here that I'll be using for my new troop, but in this video we're going to focus on Rune Fated. So I'll get it unboxed, get the models assembled, and then we'll run through their character cards so you can see exactly how they play on the table. Here we go then, Rune Fated, and these look really fun. 3 great characters included here, all very different, and that's the sort of thing I love from Moonstone. The characters are so unique, and even though these are all gnomes and part of the faction of Commonwealth, they can be mixed up with other models from other box sets, and it just all works together and syncs up nicely. Let's get it open then and we'll have a look at what's inside. So here you can see we've got the big chunky foam with some other little pieces in there to protect it. Sometimes you'll get 2 pieces of foam and it all depends on how big the miniatures are. But with this one you're going to see the miniatures are quite large. There's a few components to put together. And then we got the 3 character cards as well. So let's get rid of that foam out of the way. And now we can see everything that we get. So we've got all our miniatures in the plastic baggies and we've got the cards. I'll put those to one side and we'll get these miniatures out of the bag and on the table. So 3 all together, all made in this high quality resin, and the resin is fantastic. The details on the Moonstone characters are brilliant and I think they do a great job on casting. And here's the first one, Bjorn. You can see we've only got 3 different components to put together, so it's going to be a nice easy one there to assemble. Right away, I got some Asterix vibes from this character. I love the shield that he's got on his back with the wood texture, and then you got the metal axe as well with the engravings in. You can see just how fine it is, and you got all the furs. He's got a fantastic moustache as well, so that's going to be really fun to get painted up. Next up, we've got Liv. This is going to be our healer from the set. So the 3 characters that they include here are kind of designed to sync up and work well together, but you can play them with other Commonwealth miniatures. You don't have to stick them together, but I certainly will be. Here you can see we've got 4 components. 1 little piece has come off, but that's no problem. It's not damaged or anything, and so we can be able to glue that on later. There it is. You can see it there. And great character, this one. The hair and all the fur and all the different textures on these models is just brilliant. Right, we've got one more to unbox. This is Olim, and this is a really great character. Straight away, I'm thinking never-ending story. And you've got this little character, Olim, riding on the back of the dog, which is just awesome, carrying that cart of elixirs with him. Olim himself has got the sword and the arm to glue on there. A little bit of tidying up to do on the casting there, but not much at all. I'll just use a little scalpel blade to clean that up and clippers to trim it off. Done a video on how I prepare my resin miniatures. If you'd like to check that out, I'll link to it at the end of this one. Then we've got the main body and the wheels there. And so you can see that's going to go together really easily. And then on the back, we've got the car. You can see the shapes line up. There's no instructions on how to build these, and you don't need it. It's really straightforward, and you can tell from the images on the back of the box. Have a look at the website, and that gives you everything you need to know to put it together. Some models even come fully assembled with no gluing required except to put it on the base, but others, like Olim here, will have a few components. Okay, there we go. I've glued these together now. I've used super glue to assemble them, and I like the gel glues. They set a lot faster. If you've got the activator that can set it, you do a little spray after you put the glue on. That's really going to help with these models. And I'm not a fan of super glue. I do find that sometimes when you glue any resin models together, it doesn't always catch straight away. So it's really just a case of getting it in there, testing it first, putting the glue on, and popping it in place. So with like a fast reaction applicator spray, I think that's going to be really helpful. But here's Liv. Awesome pose. I love all the textures. The hair is really good. A lot of the Moonstone characters have got great hair. I think that's something they really excel at when they're designing these. Then we've got Olim here. Love this model. Real action pose. Lots of movement going on. And you can see just how I've glued that together. So I put the front paw just over the base. And then the car is actually in the air. But luckily when I was gluing that, it took immediately. So I was really happy with that. I think just the nature of the different connections there, the way it goes together, really helps it to set fast. Okay, we've seen the miniatures. Now we're going to dive in and have a close look at the cards. Before I start working through them though, I always put them in these Dragon Shield clear classic cards. You can see on the back it's 66.5 by 92.5 millimeters. These are the clear varieties. They come in all different ones. You can get smoky ones, coloured ones, all sorts. But I just like the standard clear ones. You're going to get 100 in a pack. and then all you do is pop that in there, and then that's going to protect your cards, and you can even write on these with your markers later on. Okay, let's have a look at Liv first. So this is the first character. You can see it tells us at the bottom here the size of the base and the faction rune mark, in this case Commonwealth. Then at the top we'll have the name, Liv, and then we've got Gnome, Norse and Cleric keywords. Melee is 2, range of 1 inch, Arcane is 4, and Evade is going to be 0. Then we've got our passive abilities, and the first one is called Reading the Runes. This tells us that when this character activates, you may guess a card, colour and number, or catastrophe. Then you flip an arcane card. If you guess correctly, apply the following effect. If it's a green, then choose a friendly Norse model within 8 inches to gain protection. The first time this character would suffer damage, reduce that damage to 0 until end of turn. And then if it's blue, you would choose a model within 8 inches to restore X number plus 1 of wounds. And then pink, choose a model within 8 inches to suffer X magical damage. And then for the catastrophe, all models within 2 inches suffer 2 magical damage. This is really fun, a bit unpredictable. I don't think you're going to get it right many times, but when you do, it's going to be a real awesome thing. And also because it's every time the character activates, you can just do this as a free action, then it's going to be fun to really just play that out. And just note that the way it's written here, if you guess incorrectly, you're not going to suffer the catastrophe. That catastrophe there is only if you choose that as your guess for the card. So for example, if you guess that the card is catastrophe, then you would apply the condition where all models within 2 inches suffer 2 magical damage. So the way I'm reading this particular passive ability is that if you guess wrong, nothing happens. It's only if you guess correctly that any of these conditions are applied. Now we've got another ability here called Manipulate the Runes. After resolving an arcane action, this model initiated, but before shuffling the arcane deck, you may set aside any cards from your hand that weren't played. After shuffling the arcane deck, put any number of the set aside cards on top of the deck in any order and put the remainder on the bottom of the deck in any order. But you can only do this once per turn. I love this. It's such a fun ability to use as well, so you can really start kind of guessing ahead, thinking about which character your opponent may activate next, and then just manipulating those arcane decks. And yeah, really good. Fits with the narrative so well, and great fun. Now on to the arcane ability called Runes of Power. Here, this is going to cost 1 energy, 8 inch range, and if it's blue, the target will restore X number of wounds, and if it's pink, the target will suffer X minus 1 magical damage. As always, there's a catastrophe, and this character suffers 2 wounds. Here you can see at the bottom we've got the signature move on low guard, and then the health. You're going to start losing the energy as the health gets really low at the bottom, so that's nice. So quite resilient up front, but once you start getting that health down, then you're going to start to lose the energy. Right, let's flip it over, and we see we've got Rune Shield. This is our upgrade for low guard, and no matter what the opponent plays, you're going to be dealing no damage to them. But there's a nice condition at the bottom where you reduce damage suffered by -2. So this makes Liv really resilient in battle. She's going to be able to hold her own. I guess that's the power of the runes at play. Okay, now on to Bjorn, another awesome character, and you can see he's got Gnome, Norse and Mercenary as his keywords. Melee 4, Range 1, Arcane 2 and Evade 0. We've got quite a few different abilities here. The first one is Bearskin, reduce non-piercing damage suffered by -1. Then we've got Berserk Fury, increase all melee damage dealt by half the number of wounds, rounding up. This character has currently suffered. Ignore any wounds suffered during the current action for this damage increase. Very nice, so he's going to be pretty good at dealing the damage, and he can take it too. Then we've got another ability called Scar. When this character activates, you may flip an arcane card. This model suffers X wounds, where X is the value of the card. If you draw Catastrophe, this character restores all wounds and loses Berserk Fury until the end of turn. So there we go. So that's a little bit of fun. You may turn it. You don't have to flip that arcane card. But if you want to get your wounds back, then it might be worth the risk. Now onto Bear Charge. Here we've got a 1 energy, 4 inches. Move this model 3 inches directly towards target enemy model. The target cannot play signature moves until end of this character's activation. Then we've got Throwing Axe, 2 energy, 4 inch range, and it's a green we're looking for here. Target suffers 2x impact damage. But there's a catastrophe here. If you draw that card, this character suffers 3 wounds, so big risk if you pull out that catastrophe. The signature move is a falling swing, and just like with Liv, we're seeing that the energy loss is right at the bottom of the wounds count there. Let's flip the card over then, and we'll have a look at the upgrade for falling swing. And here this is called Thrash, and we can see we've got impact or slicing damage. Now if the opponent plays a falling swing, a thrust or a rising attack, you can see that we've got 0 damage, but we've got that highlighted in yellow. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for follow-up attacks. Then we've got an end step effect where we can move the model 2 inches directly towards the enemy. So this is all about getting Bjorn right into battle. He's tough, he can deal it, and yeah, really fun end step effect. Next up, we've got Olim, and you can see here Gnome, Animal, Norse, and Noble keywords. Melee, we're looking at 3. Range of 1 inch. Arcane 4, that's always nice, and an Evade of 0. We've got some nice abilities. We're going to start with Valhalla. When another friendly Norse or a friendly young Jack within 6 inches starts a jog action, it may move plus 2 inches, provided the move ends with the character engaging an enemy. Models with slow are still limited to 2 inches as normal. Next, we've got Look of Innocence. When an enemy targets this character with an action, the active enemy model must discard 1 energy or the action is cancelled. That's going to be really useful. Love that. And then we've got one more called Fortunate. This is going to cost an energy. We can use this once per turn. We can look at the top 3 cards of the Arcane deck. Put any number on the top of the deck in any order and put the remainder on the bottom of the deck in any order. So this, combined with Liv, is going to be really fun to play out. Really liking these abilities, and they're very different to the ones we've come across so far in other models. We've got one more though. This is going to be the Arcane ability, Buttermilk Elixir, 2 energy, 6 inch range, and then here the target restores X plus 1 wounds if it's blue, but if it's pink, the target Norse or Gnome gains plus 1 energy. There's a catastrophe, and this character will suffer 3 wounds, so it can take quite a lot of wounds there if you get that wrong. The health here is 7, and then we're going to start losing that energy as we get further down, not quite as far as the other 2 characters. Have a look at the base in the right hand corner, you'll see it's 40 mil, so this is on a slightly larger base than the other models too, so really worth checking these cards out before you glue them on. Alright, let's flip over to our signature move on a low guard, which is called Fetch. And here now, it doesn't matter what the opponent plays, there's going to be no damage dealt. But the end step effect is where it's at, and here we choose a friendly Norse or friendly young Jack within 4 inches of the enemy model. Move the chosen friendly character 3 inches directly towards the enemy. If the chosen friendly character is now engaging the enemy, then this model may move 3 inches directly away from the enemy model. So this is really good. You're starting to get miniatures or other characters in front to protect Olim here. And one good thing about having the Noble keyword is Brunhild can actually act as his bodyguard. So that combo is going to be really great. There we go then, that's Liv, Bjorn and Olim, all part of Rune Fated, a fantastic box set from Moonstone. I can highly recommend this one, I love it. We've got some really fun abilities playing out here, and I love how you can manipulate the rooms with Liv. You've got a real hard character with Bjorn who's going to go crazy, getting in there with his Berserk Fury to deal damage and also absorb it. And then of course you've got Olim, who's going to go around helping to restore some wounds, and then pairing him up with Brunhild is going to be a smart move, I think, so that she can act as his bodyguard. And I'll be unboxing Brunhild in a future video, so look out for that coming very soon. If you're interested in Moonstone, check out my other videos. There's loads here on the channel, including unboxing of the 2 starter sets, I'm going through loads of videos on painting the different models from that, looking at different techniques you can use to do like fur on the jackalope, and also some colour theory for Greymare, one of my favourite characters. Done a video on how to paint him as well. So I've been working through some of the new Shades faction, also looking at the fawns, which are really fun. Boris the Bunny Summoner is awesome, and then focusing on fairies, and then also we're starting to expand the collection now with Rune Fated and other gnomes. Here's an awesome character you could add to these gnomes too. Dim and Dimmer, I painted him up, and also have a look at some of the others that you can use, like Rebulb the Troll, the Goblin Airship, and much more. There's also a full how to play series on the channel, taking you through everything you need to know to play your first game of Moonstone. Let me know what you think about Rune Fated in the comments below, and look out for more videos while I unbox Outlanders and Brunhild. Check out the links below to find out more about Moonstone. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.